Come on in, sit back and relax. You're listening to episode 202 of the WealthTech Today podcast. I'm your host, Craig Iskowitz, founder of Ezra Group Consulting. And this podcast features interviews, news, and analysis all around the trends and best practices about wealth management technology. My guest for this episode is Amit Dogra, President and CEO at RIA aggregator True Independence. Now, Amit has been at True Independence for almost 2 years, and he came to his current role from Sanctuary Wealth, where he was the Chief Experience Officer. Before that, he was CEO at Third Seven Advisors, a national independent RIA. And previously, he was Managing Director, National Head of Relationship Management at Hightower for 4 years. Now, Amit has a lot more earlier experience at he cycled through places like BNY Mellon, Brinker Capital, and SEI. He spent his entire career in wealth management, and I really enjoy interviewing industry lifers like Amit. But before we get started, I have a message for executives at wealth management firms. Your tech debt is holding back your business growth. That old software platform you're running on is rusted and falling apart and needs an overhaul. Your disparate systems don't communicate well with each other, and it's driving your ops team and advisors crazy as they create manual processes and use Excel to cover up the gaps. If you're in charge of tech or ops at a broker-dealer, RIA, family office, or TAMP, you should run, not walk to our website, EzraGroup.com, and fill out the Contact Us form on the homepage. Our experienced team can evaluate your current tech ecosystem, deliver targeted recommendations, optimize your existing systems and operations, or run an RFP and help you implement new software to take your firm to the next level. You can take advantage of our free consultation by going to EzraGroup.com. Let me squeeze in a few housekeeping items quickly. Please subscribe to WealthTech Today wherever you listen to podcasts. And please support the Invest in Others Charitable Foundation. Their gala fundraiser is next week in Boston. I'll be there. It's going to be weird wearing a suit and tie after spending most of this week in shorts out on the beach at Future Proof, but you can't show up in flip-flops to a gala, so I'm going to bite the bullet and put my suit on. You can learn more about the terrific programs at Invest in Others at investinothers.org. For more information about True Independence, go to true-ind.com. And now, let's kick this thing off. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Where are you calling from, Amit?
So I call outside of Philadelphia home, the suburbs of Philadelphia, Phoenixville, if you're familiar with that area.
Phoenixville. Yep, I grew up in Cherry Hill.
No kidding. Yep, so right across the bridge. In fact, my best friend from high school lives in Cherry Hill, so I get over there still a fair amount.
All right. Yeah, my mother still lives there, so I go there every couple of weeks.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate that. You know, when Tommy said, "Hey, on it, we've got a chance to have you spend time with Craig," I was really excited. So.
Oh wow. I appreciate it. I'm excited as well. So it's a mutual admiration society. I'm surprised we haven't met before now. Have we met before? Like in person somewhere?
We're two ships passing in the night, Craig. I will absolutely say, to my own fault, I have seen you at events and said, "Oh, I should make a minute to go over there. Hey, wait, look at that shiny object," and got distracted.
Squirrel.
That's exactly. Ooh, squirrel. Yeah. So yeah, true. I've been here for just a little bit over a year and a half. Prior to joining True, I worked at Hightower during what I call the 1.0 era, when Elliot was there, and helped grow the firm from 13 to 40 billion. I was head of advisor growth, organic growth, M&A tuck-in strategy, as well as relationship management, business consulting, branding, marketing, PR. I ended up running the group up until my departure, which was 165 advisors, 40 billion, 150 million plus of revenue for the firm before the 2.0 Bob Oros era got ushered in. Then ended up over at Sanctuary, where helped Jim Dixon, now no longer there, create understand the blueprint for not attracting breakaway advisors, but retaining breakaway advisors. So I was the chief experience officer there and helped build the strategy around where, how, and when we wanted to take money and what that was going to look like. After that, ended up taking some time off and ended up at True. And so at True, I am the president and chief operating officer, driving the growth of the company, as well as fortifying the operational infrastructure here at True. And it's a fantastic organization with great human talent, and a great culture. And so, as the bedrock of a firm, what better place to build on? And that's just what we've done. Going into this year, we were 9 billion of AUM. We've already papered over 3 billion of AUM, AUA, and we'll add another, fingers crossed if everything goes according to plan. Well, another 3 billion, for sure. So we've got 2 billion already kind of penciled. We're looking for that another billion. And, if that works out, we'll have papered, 15 or another 6 billion. So we'll be at 15 billion. So, 66% growth in 1 year is, not the worst thing to.
No, what a good plan about that.
Yeah. So if we miss and we hit north of 50, I guess, we'll take that as well.
No,
so
you'll deal with it.
Yeah, we'll deal with it. So we're excited.
Such fast growth. How do you avoid being overwhelmed and having everything kind of fall apart?
Yeah, there's two things that come of that. One is, which is why we love the business, right? Because while you sign an advisor, they're not always transitioning right in that moment. It's not like technology in that way, right? It's not instant. You're not instantly ingesting it. So, we have that. We have staggered. We hired ahead of our growth. Craig Stuhlin, our founder and CEO, and I fully agree that, let's bend but not break, and let's get ready and ahead of it. And so between January and March, we hired 10 people. So we're fortified in that. And then the other piece is how we structure the business, which is a little bit different on the operational side. A lot of what, this industry is kind of weird around how we shape segments of the business, like transition. A lot of firms have a transition team. My question is why? Isn't transition just service in an acute format? Yes. Mm-hmm. So you're preparing to come, and then you have them come, and then you leave. Well, there's relationship capital, there's institutional capital, there's just knowledge. There's things that just get lost that you don't know when you change that. So from our perspective, we've pushed transitions into our regions, and so we have pods or regions, whatever you like to call them, East, Midwest, West, where transitions are done by the service team, so that after break day, you're getting your transition and your service from the same team, and all that relationship capital, that institutional knowledge carries on with you. I don't know why. It's one of those things that the industry has decided to bifurcate, but right. We've done that. And so you get to learn the teams, you get to learn the advisors, and a lot of times you're learning together on some of that stuff. So by hiring ahead of our growth, keeping the transitions within our regions, the acclimation process is really high, and the adoption rate is really, really high. The other way that we've fortified what we've done is our approach from a fintech perspective. I had the pleasure of talking with Joel Bruckenstein before T3, and said to Joel, I said, look, I think the industry is moving back, and I can look to quotes from Eric Clark or Bill Krager or anybody else that says they're not interested in M&As. They're looking at ingesting what they have and creating a single source code type platform, or at least an integrated platform, right? Redtail. So, Orion, investment, what they have been trying to do forever and continue to try to do. We went out and said, look, we want to either build a technology or that is already in that game. And so we went out and said, well, what are the things that matter the most to people? It's fintech that works, great access to great human talent, and people who understand the relational value of an advisor and a client, why that's so important. Everyone talks why that's important, but if it's truly that important, you would run your business differently. And so those three characteristics, Craig, that behavioral finance, that fintech, that human talent, combined with the spirit and a legacy of innovation, is what we've kind of rebranded as experience as a service. And Joel Bruckenstein, when I shared that with him, said, Amit, you gave words to the thing that the industry is trying to chase, but didn't know how to articulate. And I took that as the most highest praise I could possibly get, coming from Joel. So I was really excited to hear that. So we knew we were beating down marching down the right path. And then you start to do that. What you find is advisors are aligning with you. and say, that sounds different. That's what I want. That aligns with what I'm thinking. That's how I want the business to be done. And so, we developed TruView, which is our fintech platform, to help advisors in a single source code manner. And the analogy that we use, Craig, is, there's what we did was we leveraged. We leveraged from other industries. So let's use the automotive industry as our example. If you look at Toyota and Lexus, the car is the same chassis, but just different badges, right? You've got Hyundai and Kia, the same chassis, different badges. Nissan Infiniti, same chassis, different badging. Volkswagen Audi, same chassis, different badges, and it goes on and on and on. So we found a chassis that was out there that worked, that really sort of delivered on what we wanted, which was built from the ground up, single source code technology that was intuitive and simple to use, and wasn't the patchwork quilt of API or the lie of open architecture, when mostly people really talk about at best is single sign-on through a dashboard. How do we really get there to that point? And so we went out and said, we can do it ourselves, and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and realized that this was not going to work for us, or we could partner with someone. So we partnered with Advizon. And so Advizon powers TruView, and we have upgraded it just like, in the car analogy, right? We put our own badging on it. Our own help desk is embedded in the technology. Our carousel of information is embedded into the technology. Our metrics that matter to our advisors is embedded in the technology. So that homepage is business metrics. It's true specific. It's everything that they need to integrate with us and interact with us, as well as things for their business. So we've customized it to a high degree. And we have found that TruView has been the game changer in beating our competitors, and experience as a service is what advisors want and deliver. So we continue to see this, and as Tommy will tell you, is, as we get that adoption, we continue to grow and grow and add advisors. It's building on that spirit of innovation, and we're excited about where we're going to go with that. That's my teaser for you.
That's a great teaser. So with Advizon, what parts of your business is running on Advizon? I didn't realize they have a full platform, but
we're taking the whole thing. We took the whole thing, and we've customized it. And so the way we've done it is look, we're now 11 billion as the assets continue to transfer. It grows by the day, but our legacy business, roughly around 8 billion, Craig, sits on the disparate technology of Orion or a Black Diamond, and supplemented with a Wealth Box or a Redtail. And what we have is the reason why we made this move was advisors who are on those disparate technologies said, Amit, there's got to be a better way. True, it's on you as our business partner to help find that. And that's what we set out to do. And so when we tested, and I looked at a lot, Circle Black, Vestmark, all of them, I looked at all of them. The reason why we settled on Advizor is that integrated CRM with the performance reporting, even the investment management piece of it new, which is very new, which we've private labeled True Investment Management. You add that in there when the client portal, and then you have the deep integration with like a MoneyGuide Pro or a Right Capital or I did not want to call them by their old name, Nitrogen, or Nitrogen. Yes, added in there. It's all two-way. It's not just single. It's not just integrated. It's two-way information, and we're adding behavioral financial planning tools like Lumient to the mix. So our goal is to have a unique version, a unique instance that puts us in a category of one. And when we talk to advisors, that's where we're at.
That's a great saying. It puts us into a category of one.
Yeah. Craig, I will actually say, while that's a great thing, I think the thing that we're most excited about is we had a phone call, and I'll protect the guilty a bit, from some of those firms, a couple of those firms that I just mentioned, who said, Amit, we love the phrase experience as a service. We're actually disappointed we didn't think of it first. Can we borrow it? And consistent with our messaging, True's messaging in the marketplace, is we said, yeah, because experience as a service isn't a true thing. It's an industry thing. Our goal, as Tommy knows, is I want that as a block on the KITSIS map. And I want the firms out there that are looking at behavioral finance and innovation and, fintech and human talent and are delivering that as an ecosystem. I want them all there. So yes, Mr. XYZ firm, if you're interested in using that and you're interested in that label and you'll play by those rules of like delivering something unique and compelling and bigger and beyond, absolutely borrow it. So we're pretty excited that it's catching industry
Well, hold on back. What do you mean?
validation.
What is it? What exactly does someone call you about? They asked you to borrow what?
If they could use the phrase experience as a service in their marketing.
Oh, experience as a service. Got it. I missed that part.
Yeah. So that's what we've been out there touting, which is a combination of, behavioral finance, fintech, human talent with the layer of innovation driving that, right? And so they've said, we would love to use that if that's okay with you. And I said, it's not my term, it's the industry term.
Well, I'll bring it to Michael. We review the map. We just had our map meeting yesterday morning for next month.
Boom.
And
That's great.
for this month.
Right.
But the experience of the service, we're always adding new categories as more vendors come out with different takes on the industry or different looks, different innovative packages of features and functionality. We're always open to making the map more useful by categorizing different products in ways that make more sense.
Yeah, it's we're excited, and thank you for the consideration. We're excited about it too because we're also looking at innovation probably a little bit differently. In AI out there, we've seen some unique partnerships where we're hoping to have something in that innovation lab type marketplace here soon, which is a personal passion of mine as well as a business passion. And there's this conversation out there. People are saying, well, AI won't replace advisors. It's advisors who don't use AI that would be replaced. I actually called nonsense on that too. And the reason simply being is there's not enough advisors. There's not enough advisors. So let's be honest with ourselves, folks. It doesn't matter how you do it. If you want to be an advisor in a certain amount of time, it doesn't matter how you hang your shingle. You'll get a shot at it because of this lack of people coming into this space. But, I do have faith and hope that, there will be more people than we think. It'll just be a matter of time. Because people do go, where the opportunity set lies. And that's one of the great things about the heartbeat of this country. So I don't buy into that notion. I think AI will obviously help our industry, but you will not be rendered obsolete. I go back to the legions of research. Mark Hurley, undiscovered managers, right? You're either going to be rolled up or rolled over. That was that was the late 90s or early 2000s. I'm still waiting for that day, right? And I think many of us are, right? Oh, wait, no, I forgot. What was that other one? Oh yeah, the robo advisors. That was going to lay waste to financial advisors. I think we've pretty much said that that's pretty much dead. So as we continue to roll forward, I think what we have to recognize is what is the only universal truth is that we are a tech forward world, a tech forward country, tech forward industry, which will always augment what we do, but will never be the shiny center of what we do. It will enhance, implement, support, supplement, but it will never be the one thing that everybody gravitates to. It's not the sun, but it does create a halo effect. And I don't mean that in a negative way, because I think we have to constantly continue to innovate. But let's be honest with ourselves. It doesn't even, for those who don't, there's still a place. All I have to do to validate that is say one word: wirehouse. Right? The wirehouse is still there and kicking. That's another one. Oh yeah, they're going to be gone by 2030. I'll bet a wooden nickel they'll still be here in 2030.
They'll still be here, and the polar ice caps will still be here.
Look, I mean, they're reinventing themselves to go after some of these millennials with salary bonus structures and saying just show up and be, enhanced relationship managers. We'll put, almost like the Fisher model. We'll put the leads in your seat. You just take care of these clients. I think there's going to be a lot of this younger generation that finds that very appealing, which will ultimately lead to them going independent when they realize the errors of their ways, and that will continue the ongoing funnel in what we do.
Sure.
So there we go.
One thing you mentioned earlier was that you're leverage advisor for the TruView platform.
Yeah.
But that 8 billion in assets still sits on disparate tech like Orion. Is that because with all the acquisitions, those different RIAs were sitting on different tech and you haven't converted them over yet?
Yeah. So we are probably, the way to kind of categorize us is our biggest competitor is Dynasty. So we are not acquiring advisors. We're not taking equity stakes. We're helping launch them or helping relieve them, or alleviate the pain of being independent and providing a business partner to help with the things that make them, give them the most pain: compliance, finance and accounting, IT and technology, or their fintech. And then obviously operation support and service as well. So those are the things that we provide that are unique. The biggest difference being that we're the named chief compliance officer, while others will provide compliance support. We'll be your compliance officer. So those sort of services become very unique. So we haven't taken equity stakes or M&A. And so as they come on, those are legacy businesses. Now, the reason we are here with TruView is because those legacy advisors have told us that they want to make the move. So we've lined up roughly about half of that number to transition over time, but we're not looking to do, like a wholesale kind of change. We love our partnerships with those folks, and if advisors want to continue to do it, they can do so. But every new team that's come on to True in the last year has gone on to TruView.
So you're fine with the firms that are affiliated with you keep their own tech if they want?
Sure. Now, to be clear, we're not a supermarket. Right? So we support the fintech in a meaningful way where we find that advisors can get leverage scale and we have partnership, but we're not a supermarket.
Right. Well, you don't offer those other technologies, but they can stay on them if they want to. You don't support them.
We do support Orion and Black Diamond and Adapar as examples. We do support Wealthbox and Redtail as examples. So we do support a nice array of services. Again, Nitrogen and others. But what we're not a supermarket. We're also not forcing advisors to move to TruView, right? One thing advisors don't want is to be told what to do. So the choice is available. And we say, look, if you take a look at TruView, if you don't want to make the move, it's no problem here.
That's interesting. Who are your custodian partners?
Pretty excited about our custodial partners. We have Schwab, we have Fidelity, Pershing, and our soon-to-be newest partner is one that is out there in the space.
You can't say.
We haven't made anything sort of official, and Tommy will absolutely beat me if I do.
Leave it another maybe 2 weeks before we start letting that one out, but I will be sure to keep you in the loop when we can, Craig.
Sure, just always interested. So Schwab, Fidelity, Pershing. What's the breakdown of the 10 billion, 11 billion across those custodians, would you say? Estimate.
Yeah, sure. 70, 20, 10. Schwab being the largest. And and that's changing. That dial is shifting. It's probably more like 75, 25, 5. Or sorry, 70, 25, 5. No, where's my math wrong? 70, 25, 5. Yes. 70, 25, 5. So
that'll be 100, right?
Yes, that would be 100. So
Fidelity's growing. To Fidelity.
From Fidelity, yes, from there. And then also in the next couple of weeks, we'll also see that shift continue to eat into some of the Schwab numbers as well.
So Schwab is also converting to Fidelity? You see Schwab clients?
We're seeing more opportunity with Fidelity than we're seeing with Schwab, and more than we're seeing with Fidelity, especially or Pershing, especially as Pershing has decided they're going to be competitors to providers of advisor service like us.
Yeah, with their Wove platform.
Yeah. And advisors who don't use it have to pay a tariff to continue. So I think we might be seeing a shift in business model, we're clearly seeing a shift in business model, which will clearly be answered with a shift in advisor assets.
Right. Which doesn't make a difference to you, which custodian they clear through, right? Or custody through.
Correct. Yeah, correct. We do not care.
But you see more opportunity with Fidelity because of their flexibility, because of their technology, because of their service. What do you see the biggest driver?
All the above. And I think when you're, whatever business you are, as you make acquisitions of significant size, there's always a ripple effect. And it doesn't matter if you're talking technology or a service or custody. Anytime you're trying to create adoption and scales and efficiencies, you see impact to the business. And I think advisors are seeing that impact, or more importantly, feeling that impact, and are looking at other providers.
So it's the TD acquisition is distracting them. They're too busy. They're swamped with, and they're not, the service is going down, and they're not paying as much attention to new business because they can't bring it on the platform.
Yeah, what I would say, Craig, is I think advisors are making those decisions for themselves.
Right. Indeed, they are. Advisors are quick to make those decisions if they can. Although it's not something you want to change. Nobody wants to change custodians.
No, they don't. But we're all as good as our last day. So.
Right. Do you see a difference in onboarding between the three custodians? So if it's one of them has better onboarding technology, that's a big issue. That's the first, when you're bringing new clients on, the onboarding is the first technology that the clients see of yours, really.
Yeah.
And onboarding doesn't work well, or it's clunky, or it's a bad experience, or requires manual steps, or lots of task switching. It could put a bad taste in the mouth of clients or advisors.
Yeah. I've been asked that question before, and I think I've been lucky because when I was at Hightower, Fidelity was the largest custodian there by far. Right. When I was at Sanctuary, it was Schwab. And what I found is it didn't matter who the incumbent was. There was experiences that were positive and negative with both. And it in a lot of ways was unique to two things. Number one, the type of business the advisor had. If there was a heavy loan book attached, ultra high net worth, lots of accounts or lots of households with lots of accounts. Those things all kind of weighed into the circumstance. What I think is interesting is everybody's got on the custodian side now has their all new technology. And so it's different and there's nothing universal about it. I just don't understand what you give up by having some sort of universal technology for onboarding. I don't, it's because it just creates a better experience. You have the custody, you have the assets. Who cares how you get them on board? Just get them on board. And so that's a head scratcher for me. And it doesn't matter which custodial partner we go to. It seems that they all want to do it their way.
Yes.
So different.
I found that too. When I was at the Persian conference, they had announced their Wove platform, and which, by the way, we helped them a little bit with. Full disclosure, we don't.
Congratulations.
Right, they hired us to do strategy for them, so that we came in and did a strategy review of of where they were going with the platform, and validated what their mission was, validated their direction, gave them advice. So we have nothing to do with actually selling it or anything like that, but they called us for help. So it was interesting to see them launch it, and they announced multi-custodial. And I had a question: well, will you actually plug in to Schwab and TD's APIs and do a full, seamless integration, or will it be like everyone else, where we're constantly task switching? As you mentioned, they all want to do it their own way. So you can start in one application, but then they force you to task switch into their website to finish the account opening, or their DocuSign.
Yeah, exactly. Their unique version of DocuSign. Really? Really? Do we need that? So, that's not where you're going to get stickiness. Right? Stickiness isn't on the onboarding process. In fact, if anything, that creates the proverbial like rubber wall where you want to bounce off of it. Right? That's where you want the ease of use. Right. That's where you want to be client centric, and that's why I don't understand this. But what do I know?
You're seeing the same thing when they're opening accounts to advise on. You can get only to a certain point.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
I know that in partnership with Advison, we are trying to figure out a way to crack that code with any custodian. So, but it's an arduous task, and one that has happened or taken that it outdates even our request. So
yeah. I mean, just so I have heard that Fidelity, Schwab says that they don't even have the APIs. They didn't even build them yet. Because I talked to about this as well, and Fidelity says that they will allow people to use their own DocuSign, but you have to put in a request to do that.
We have heard that. We haven't tried that yet. Stay tuned. We'll let you know.
Good to know. Yeah, I'm actually working on an article about that because it just sounded so interesting that there's so many different ways to open accounts, and there's so many different machinations, and every custodian's got their own way of doing it. And so it's
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating that that's still an issue in this
Yeah.
day and age, enlightened day and age.
Orange, I thought had a shot at it. I thought, but clearly that got swallowed up by SEI, and nothing ever came of that again. But
How long have you been working with Advizon?
so our relationship with them is at this point over probably a year and a half old in regards to conversation. The formalization is different, but we've been, I added our first advisor earlier this year, and we'll continue to add advisors going forward this year and beyond.
Great. Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. But, we really are proud of sort of like I said, the badging and the unique version of what we've done. It's compelling and different from what others are getting, and it shows up. We've had people comment as much, again, like the integration into TruView, the embedded technology of our own, help desk and all those things. So we get all the tickets, the revolving carousel of information, the updates and everything. It's all through there. That has made it very unique and different than, what's standard.
That is also another issue, ticketing, and how advisors put in service requests. So you built that yourself at your own technology, or is it built on something else like Salesforce?
No, it's not built on Salesforce. It is not. It is our own version of our technology. We use Zendesk.
Okay.
But it's everything from they can drop down and get access to us to our entire organization. So it's all embedded. It's not a separate system or anything like that. So the goal was to have it to live within the ecosystem, the TruView ecosystem, and that they never had to leave. So their business metrics, for their interaction with True, for their service, for their desktop service, whatever it might be, they stay within the TruView ecosystem for all of it.
Business metrics, another big area that a lot of firms don't have. How did you put that together? I know the driver, but how did you manage to build that? And because it brings data from a lot of different places, especially if all of your platforms, all of your RIA partners are running on different platforms, how do you bring that data in to show those kind of business metrics?
Yeah, to be transparent, the business metrics live within advisors who use TruView. We are working on something else for our non-TruView advisors, but that's a lot more further down the road at this point.
Got it.
But TruView allows us to capture those metrics, and so we're doing this in partnership, and we'll continue to advance it, because I think what we want to do is take it from business metrics, which is basically data, and even big data is just that. It's big. But how do you make it more actionable? Or said another way, what's the punchline? Give us the punchline of that data in regards to using it in my business. And we're finding a lot of it, while the insights are there, or the information is there, it's not truly insightful enough. And that's where we're focused, and we're working in partnership to solve for that. But the data and the metrics are there, and we're continuously working, and our advisors are working with us.
I figured that was only inside the TruView platform. That makes more sense.
Okay.
It's a problem that no one's really solved yet.
No.
But it's definitely out there for someone to solve.
Yeah, 100%. Ooh, 100%. Hopefully somebody will.
So we go back to some of the other applications besides, so Advizon's for using the whole platform, using the CRM, using their TAMP for your investment solution. But you have Nitrogen. What are the other applications? Your financial planning. What are you guys using for that?
We have, again, it's choice for the advisor, MoneyGuide Pro. We also look at Rate Capital, and then our partnership with Lumiant also exists through TruView.
So those integrate into TruView?
They do.
So give me an example. So you built that out using the MoneyGuide Pro and Rate Capital's APIs, and that they stay in MoneyGuide Pro, or is it a front end on top of it? And what data is going back and forth?
Yes, the data is being able to be pulled back and forth, and what we're trying to do is continuously expand it. Nitrogen is a better example in some ways. If you take the score The score shows up not only in the client portal, it shows up on every page of TruView. So if you're an MGP user, every page of TruView, wherever you go in your dashboard, you see that score and you see some of the data and the metrics, and it pulls back and forth both ways. MGP does the same thing. It's data that pulls back and forth both ways, and you see it embedded within in the client information, the client record, as well as in the client portal.
Excellent. That is certainly at the top of the game. I think in terms of firms that are out there, very few have that kind of embedded capabilities built and working.
Yeah, and that's honestly why, Craig, we're having a record year. A lot of people talk about it, but then it's like, show. And there's a lot of people talking about moving to it, but I feel like everybody's saying, oh, you can't have your cake and eat it too in APIs and integrations. Respectfully, I haven't seen it much past, to your point, single sign-on type stuff.
It's interesting because we started another company.
Talk to me.
To solve this problem, because not all the firms all of the firms in the industry are as enlightened as you guys. And being consultants for so long, one of the biggest issues we saw was integrations. Over and over again, working with both sides, working with our vendor clients, our RIA clients and broker-dealer clients. Everyone's complaining about integrations. They don't work right. It's opaque to know who's got what. Even if they say they have a logo on their site, we integrate with nitrogen, you don't know what it means.
No.
Is it just a sign-on? Is it one direction? Is it bi-directional? Is it embedded widget? Like what is it? No one really knows. So last year we launched what we call the WealthTech Integration Score.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, so we score every vendor on the Keith's Ezra Group map has a score of 0 to 10. So you know how well they integrate. And once we did that, we realized once we had to query every single vendor. Over 150 of them have no integrations at all. 0. Not that they didn't want to, they just don't have time. They're too busy. Startups, they're in the middle of the things, they're trying to grow their business. So I thought, well, we could build something. What if we just pre-built some integrations in sort of an SDK, and that way you buy that. Of course, you still need to sign up with Money Pro or Nitrogen or Risk or whatever tool, Lumion, whatever tool you've got. You have to have a relationship with them, but you don't have to rebuild the integration. We'll just build it, and you can work with that. We're just selling software. So we built this software, but it's proof of concept at the moment. But just to show that it's cloud-based, it's not SaaS. It's cloud software that you run in your cloud. So we don't touch it. We don't touch your data, your clients, your contracts, nothing. You load our software in your cloud environment, and you say, now I want nitrogen. And it just connects. You put the right credentials in. It connects nitrogen. You say, give me risk score. You get the risk score. But if you say, well, now I want to switch to Morningstar's risk tool. You just say, well, give me Morningstar's risk tool. You don't have to know how Morningstar does it, how their APIs work. You just have to write to we're building a knowledge graph. Is how the underlying tech with a Postgres is part of our system. And this way it takes a lot of that effort out of building and maintaining. Because once you build it, that's kind of the part. Now you have to maintain it forever.
And evolve it and grow on it and iterate it. Yeah, sure.
We're seeing a lot of interest in that.
That's really interesting. Yeah, it's almost like the virtual desktop back in the day.
Back in the day,
yeah. And now you're pulling it down. Huh. Yeah, I that would be interesting. Conversation for another day.
Yeah, we can definitely walk you through that. So we just started. We incorporated. My partner is Mike Zabrowski.
Yeah, sure.
CEO of V-Money.
V-Money. I saw him in the picture with you. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Mike and I started this company, and we're right now we have a proof of concept to show that yes, we can move data through our knowledge graph. We've got Black Diamond, Redtail, E-Money, just to show that we can move data, right? It works. So we're talking to a number of firms. A lot of interest from firms like yours, that have a lot of different RIA partners that they're bringing on, RIA aggregators or RIA consolidators, because they've got this problem that everyone's got different tech, and how do they bring it all together? Similar to what you're mentioning, and that whole business dashboard has been mentioned by a couple of the firms that we were talking to, So we actually mocked up some slides to show how that would work, and they really like it. But then now we can plug into QuickBooks because most RIAs use QuickBooks.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever your asset platform is, Orion, Black Diamond, Tamarack, doesn't matter, and your CRM. Those are the three main areas where you need that data for your business dashboard.
Right. Mike's actually, I think, is he still in the greater Philadelphia area still?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Right around the corner.
Yes, he is. And DocuPace, right? Do I have that right?
He's now COO of DocuPace, yeah. So he wears multiple hats.
Gotcha. So these little passion projects, I love hearing about them because I think that's where the liquid gold is. Yeah. The opportunity.
So the hard part is getting off the ground, getting the first clients. We're looking for some funding, and it's not a great environment for funding, right? So, he built a company called AI Labs, which he's InvestNet, that was building the dashboards. They were building dashboards and portals. That was their main sale, but they had to build all the integrations behind it to get the dashboard to work. Yeah. So now we're taking all the same people that built all that and just doing the integration part. We're not doing the portal.
Gotcha.
We've already got people all the programmers lined up who want to jump in and do it again. But now we're just looking to get the funding to get that going. So, if you know anybody sitting a lot of money, let me know.
I might know. Actually, I might know somebody in that VC space who might be interested.
No VCs.
No VCs.
No VCs. No. We're looking for real people, like people we know in the industry, strategic partners, like all the people we know in the industry. We're talking to and are interested. Or firms that are looking that want the technology and want to be the first customers and also invest. Those are the kind of firms we're talking to.
Yeah, that pooled investing is coming to our industry in droves, and I actually like it. I think there's a lot because there's some built-in sort of client base to it too when you get that right.
That's our goal. So that's what we're working on. Happy to set up a separate call and give you a demo of what we got. Talk to our tech. If you want to bring your tech guy in, talk to our lead developer. He can walk you through the code base, how our knowledge graph is set up, how they built it for AI Labs, and how they're rebuilding it better for what we're doing, all the mistakes they made, and how they're fixing it. We're rather rebuilding the architecture in a more scalable and inflexible manner.
That would be nothing short of fantastic. I'd love to do that.
Excellent. We'll get that set up. And what did I forget to ask you? Is there anything else I can do to help you guys?
No, I mean, look, I think first off, thank you for the time. Time's our most precious commodity. It's not lost on me that we've gone 50 plus minutes. So I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
This is all we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm all day talking to people and love to hear about their tech, what's working, what's not working, experiences. So this is all we do.
Yeah, no, and just to hear us out on experience as a service and consider that on the map and all that kind of stuff. That's fantastic. I wasn't even thinking about that, but we love the opportunity and just to continue the continued connection to hear what you're up to and that pathway is phenomenal for us. So I really, really do appreciate the connection and the conversation.
Sure.
And there might be some other stuff for us to talk about and consider as we keep this conversation going.
Absolutely. Great. Well, Tommy, thanks for coordinating.
Thank you, guys. And I'm so glad we were able to make this happen after the little couple of missteps. But no, very glad.
Great, man.
All right, guys. Craig, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Greg.
Bye. See you guys. Bye.
Hey, it's Craig again. Here are my 3 takeaways from this episode. True Independence recently launched their tech platform called TruView, which they're marketing as an experience as a service platform. That's a new one. So it's good to hear some new terminology coming out of the industry. They claim that the platform will combine behavioral finance, fintech, and human capital to drive their business growth. I'm hopefully getting a demo of TruView in the next few weeks, so I'll have a report on it later on. Number 2, I was interested in learning about the underlying tech of TruView. You know me, I'm always about the technology, how things are built and how it's working. They built TruView around Advizon, and as Amit said, they use the whole thing, the built-in CRM, the TAMP, and they put the first advisors on the platform this year. They also integrated the great tools from Nitrogen, including putting a risk score on every page of TruView as well as the portal. A bunch of planning tools they have, including MoneyGuy Pro, Right Capital, and Lumient, as well as bi-directional data embedded into their client portal, which we love to see. Third takeaway, Amit sees Dynasty as their biggest competitor. Although there are so many players in the RIA aggregator space, some that we work with, and some that we just know very in great detail, including firms like Focus Financial, Amit's former employer Hightower. There's Mercer Advisors, other firms like RFG Advisory. We had their president, Shannon Spotswood, on the podcast recently, as well as new entrants like Joe Duran's Rise Growth that I just announced at Future Proof this week. All right, that's all, folks. You reached the end of another episode of the WealthTech Today podcast. Before you go, please go to our website, EzraGroup.com, scroll to the bottom of the homepage, and sign up for our newsletter. Once a month, you'll receive an email chock full of wealth management goodness, news, information, updates. You will not be disappointed. Thanks for listening, and talk to you all next time.